everybody, it is April and I'm in my sewing room and I have been working on a quilt. I pieced it together, it's been quite some time ago, and then sometime later I made a quilt sandwich with it, and now I'm finally getting around to quilting it, and I shared some free motion quilting with you all in a couple other videos and I'll link them somewhere. Now I want to finish the outside border, and I have decided that I'm going to do that on my Grace Qzone Hoop Frame. I think it's going to be the easiest way to accomplish that, and I haven't used this in a while, so I wanted to get back to it. I know they've been doing some heavy advertising for this particular frame, so I thought I would share my process and hopefully it will help somebody else who's just getting started on their hoop frame. So here we go. Here is my quilt, and what I'm going to do, I made this originally when I put my sandwich together with the full intention of quilting the whole thing on my hoop frame, which I ended up not doing. But, so I have quite a bit of this quilt sandwich backing and batting so that I can work on this border right here. Everything else I believe I've quilted that I want to quilt, just got to do the border. So what I'm going to do, and the border that I have decided to do is just a squiggly line, just like that. Nothing fancy, just something fun and a little whimsical, because this quilt is a little whimsical. So the first thing I need to do is I need to load the quilt on my hoop frame. And I'm going to do long side first. So I'm going to be actually turning it, not just going, you know, around. I'm going to do the long side, and then I'll load it up on the short side, and then I'll figure out which side I'm going to do after that. Pull this forward, and essentially it's like an embroidery hoop. Like you are putting some material in an embroidery hoop in order to embroider it, because you want it a little taut. So I'm going to put this here. Now I'm going to push my machine back. And I'm going to drape. I want to make sure that I can get the whole area, and it looks like that is not going to be an issue. Alright, so I also want to make sure that I can get to the end. First, what I'm going to do is get where my sewing machine is, where I want it, and then I've got these clips that go in the back, and I need to feel about where my elastic bands are, because they will allow me to secure this in place. Alright, so I can go as far this way as I want, and I can go as far that way as I want. And I'm pretty sure I'm going to be okay on this end. But I want to hook up these elastic pieces, because it sounds awful when they drag across your machine. Now the last time I quilted, I had a big roll of quilt under these, so they are a little loose. So I want to tighten them, and they don't have to be terribly tight, but you know, you want them tight enough that it's going to hold your material. Flip, taut, and you want to be able to tuck this under. There's a little tab. I'll show you more close up in a minute. Actually, I've got the wrong clip on that one. The other clip is over here. So I need to pick this up and move it over. This is the hardest part. I picked the worst part of the quilt to quilt on here. Okay. And there are 3 of these. So I'm going to hook this guy up. And then hook this guy up. And then I'm going to make sure I can still quilt, and I can. I don't want to get caught under my thing. Alright. Let me hook the other end up and then I'll show you what I do from this end. And I'm really making this look way harder than it is. Not sure why I'm doing that to you, but I am. Okay. Alright, so I'm going to go down here and make sure that I can get to the end. And I can, and make sure even when I've got the handle of this at the end, I should be fine, because I'm not going to, okay, I'm struggling here. Okay. Alright, so let me bring you in. Pumpkin's gonna get upset. She's like, look, I just moved for you. So, what I'm doing is I am putting this piece and attaching it to this bar. So I can feel right here that there are 2 elastic bands. So I'm going to clip this on. And I'm not worried about this being tight right now because I've got clips that I'm going to be putting on the front. So I'm going to take this clip and I'm going to hook it on there. Now, I want to tighten this a little bit. So I want to pull here so that it clips on snugly. And then I'm going to pull this flap through here because I have quilted this flap before underneath. So we'll do it one more time. I've got this here. See, because the last time I used it, it's loose. So I'm going to pull this plastic piece back a little. And then I'm going to pull on the top so that this piece underneath tightens. And then I'm going to hook it on there, and then that is looped through there, so it should be good. So, one more time, I'm going to bring this forward because this bar on the other side will hit the end before this part will. So whereas I can go this far with my machine pushed all the way back, with my machine all the way forward, I can't go as far. So, got that. So I'm just making sure that what I want to do will work. Okay, now I have these 2 pieces and they go on the front. So they fit on here, and that's where you get your tightness from. I'm going to push these down a little. And this one goes here. And again, you can ratchet it up and you get your tightness. It doesn't have to be really, really tight. You just want some tightness on there. Then I've got these end pieces. So this will go on the end. That again, just tightens it up. And I've got one more and it comes down here. Now, if I didn't have enough material to come all the way down here, then I've got these clips that will do the work for me. But I don't need that right now. I'm going to go off the edge of my quilt. I'm going to drop my needle and bring it back up. And I'm going to pull, and I've got a little piece of thread. Take my handy dandy tweezers and I'm going to pull that out. So now I've got these two threads here because I don't want my bobbin thread on the bottom. I want it to start on the top. Okay, so I'm going to drop my needle and I've got a stitch regulator. So my stitch regulator I have set at 9 stitches per inch. I have it set at the highest. Turn this on. Okay, and that's going to set my stitch. Now, so turn it back off. Now I need to just slowly attach the edge of this quilt down. And I'm going to grab these threads. I've got a little pair of scissors hanging up here. And I'm going to trim them. And I have a handy dandy garbage can, but I can't get to it because it's covered up by a quilt. There we go. Okay. I can come under here and I can look at the stitch under the quilt and it looks good. So I'm pretty comfortable that everything's set up, my tension's good, everything looks good. So now I just have to figure out where I want to start. So I'm going to go ahead and set my stitch, break my thread. Okay, and then again I'm going to make sure that I know exactly what I want to do. So I know I want to go here and I want to make a loop in the corner. Actually, I want to go here, I want to make a loop because I want to kind of turn the corner like this. So I think I'm actually going to start right down here. And I'm going to do needle up, or down up, sorry. And I need to grab my thread. So here we go. So that's going to come out here. Now, when I'm sitting at my machine, I'm pretty accurate putting the needle down because I can use the hand wheel. But I'm pretty lazy and, you know, I don't really want to walk all the way around the back to get to the hand wheel. So I actually got lucky this time. Alright, so I need to remind myself I'm going to go up and around and then around and around. Loop-de-loop-de-loop. Alright, here we go. Set your stitch. 1, 2, 3, 4. Stop. Alright, so I'm going to do a corner loop. Ready? Go. Now I've done my little loop-de-loop. Pretty pleased with it. So now what I'm going to do, I need to adjust this quilt this way so that I can finish this long part. And I don't want to bring my needle up. I want to leave my needle where it is. So I also don't want my machine to move. So on the back, there are 2 levers. One lever will keep your machine from moving front to back, and the other lever will keep your machine from moving side to side. So this one, if I remember right, is going to keep my machine from moving front to back. And then I can just bring my machine with me. Now on these front bars, if you try to lift them up here, they're just going to turn and turn and turn and turn and turn. So what I've learned is if you come and get the end and just lift up, they will come right off for you. And I keep this little cart next to me so that I can put these close to me, and that way I don't have to go looking for them, or especially if I have my quilt in its place and I need what I want within arm's reach. So again, I'm going to just put my thumbs on the bar and lift up, and it comes off like a charm. Alright, same goes for these ends, because they're going to have to come up. So see, I put both fingers here and just lift up. Now I need to unhook the little clasps. And take these off. These come off fine. That I don't have an issue with these coming off. And of course my quilt's going to fall down. That's okay. So now what I'm going to do is I am going to pull. And see, my needle is holding my quilt in place. So I know this end. See, it sounds awful when you drag it along. I hate that sound. Alright, so I'm going to pull this as far as I can, because what I want to do is I want to get this in 2 passes. Not 2 passes, but I want to get it in 2 moves, I guess. Okay, so here I can feel my elastic. I've got this within arm's reach. So I'll put this down, put these up, and they should be fine. I shouldn't have to do any tightening because I just got done. All right. Here, same thing. I don't have to bring my bobbin thread up because it's already, I mean, I'm in stitch mode. I've needles down, life is good. So I just need to, and I'm at the bottom of a large curve, so I'm going to do a small one, a small curly Q. And here we go. So I want to go ahead, and what I did is I forgot to unhook my machine. I thought about it a minute ago and then I got sidetracked. So I forgot, and therefore it wouldn't let me go anywhere but straight. But I'm going to recover from that because I'm not ripping out any stitches. Alright, here we go. So once I push this button, I need to get ready to move. So let me lock this booger in place. My goal is not to forget that I locked it in place. Let's see what happens. Alright, again, 2 fingers, lift up, comes up. I'm going to come around. I have to unhook that. I remembered. I'm so proud of myself. Alright, so now my machine should move. So I have to remember I'm coming out of the big one. I want the little loop here, and then I should be able to do at least 1 loop. I hope this video was helpful. I am really liking my Qzone Hoop Frame. It works out perfectly for me because I don't have to invest in a long arm, which I'm not sure if I would use it enough anyway. And also I've got a smaller space. I don't really have the room for an 8 or 10 foot frame. So I think as an introduction to long arm quilting, this is the perfect option for me. And I hope that if you have recently gotten a hoop frame, that this is helpful to give you some tips and tricks on how to use it. Please give it a thumbs up if you like it, subscribe if you want more, share with your friends and all that good stuff. Thanks.